greatest rivalry in women's college basketball. 6th-ranked Louisiana Tech, 2nd-ranked Tennessee. Pat Summitt, Leon Barmore, some of the all-time greats in the game. It's got a little bit of everything. And here's Coach Summitt's advice to her team in the locker room prior to the tip.
Okay, offensively, our offense and our boards, up-tempo, we'll go primary, secondary. Get to the block every time you can off the wing. Penetrate, get to the block. You can pass it there, you can drive it there, but we've got to attack the block.
And from Coach Summitt in the locker room, let's check out the State Farm starting lineup for her Tennessee Lady Vols. Ace Clement gets the start at point with Tamika Randall, and Tamika Catchings, freshman Gwen Jackson up front with sophomore Michelle Snow. And Tamika Catchings, the preseason National Player of the Year, has put up incredible numbers playing alongside Shamiqua Holtzclaw, now gets a chance to shine on her own. And for Louisiana Tech, Tamisha Jackson and Betty Lennox, perhaps the quickest guard tandem in the country. Christy Sides, Ayanna Walker, and Shaka Massey will play on the wing and down low. Our ESPN lineup for you, Beth Mullins along with Jay Billis, Tiffany Wright also joining us courtside. And it's game 2 of the State Farm Women's Hall of Fame Tip-Off Classic. In the opener, North Carolina State upset Rutgers. And Tennessee trying to avoid the same fate. The Lady Techsters in blue, the Lady Vols in white. And we are underway here at Thompson Bowling Arena.
This will be an up-and-down, up-tempo basketball game. Tennessee loves to change defenses, and Louisiana Tech has quickness at the guard spot.
Tamika Randall in transition. She's got Clement running with her. Now look for a secondary break here. Gwen Jackson has it knocked away by Betty Lennox. Quickly up the court. Jackson, pull up, 16-footer won't go. And Louisiana Tech tried to keep it in play. And we'll go over to Lady Vols. Leon Barmore, the head coach for the Lady Techsters in his 18th season. Number 1 in win percentage among all college coaches. 86% of the time he sits down on the sideline, he stands up with a W and takes it to the locker room. Gwen Jackson. First 2 points for the freshman Gwen Jackson out of Eufaula, Alabama.
Nice job by Ace Clement, handling that double team, getting around it, and finding the open person underneath. Tennessee starting out man-to-man, a little double stack low, trying to get Betty Lennox open.
Lennox spinning away from Clement. Can't get that one to fall. Good battle on the glass by Ayanna Walker to keep it alive. Jackson pulls the trigger. Walker again tips it out top. And Lennox whistled for the walk. There's always something big at stake when these two meet, including a couple of national championships won by Tennessee in '87 and '98. Tech has had some success in the national semis, and these two are always hovering around not only the top 10, but the top spot in the nation.
Louisiana Tech was the measuring stick for women's college basketball early on, and Tennessee has closed that gap.
Clement, rebound, Ayanna Walker.
Ayanna Walker's done a nice job on the boards thus far, both offensively and defensively. She is all over the place.
She's made great strides, played with the World University Games team for USA Basketball over the summer. And made big improvements. Now Tamika Catchings.
You saw it in the USA National game. Tennessee is quick to loose balls. Tamika Randall, Tamika Catchings, any ball that's on the floor, they are likely to get it. They go after loose balls hard.
Crowd doesn't like the call, but Louisiana Tech will get the basketball.
Another changing defense for Tennessee, a 2-2-1 3-quarter court press.
As good as they have been defensively the last couple of years, the coaching staff thinks they may even be better by the end of this season.
Well, they've got a lot of flexibility defensively.
Louisiana Tech now 0 for 4 in the early going. And Tamika Randall will work a little at the point. Checked by Betty Lennox. And Michelle Snow. Silky smooth, but misses on the J. Jackson, so quick to get down the floor. Off glass. Both teams chilly from the field. On the run, Randall gets there first and lays it in with the left.
When Tamisha Jackson takes the ball to the basket, somebody has got to rotate back. It's either got to be Christy Sides, Betty Lennox. Somebody's got to get back defensively. When she goes below that free throw line, Tamisha Jackson, that leaves the other end of the court wide open with nobody back on transition defense.
Full court pressure being applied by the Lady Vols. And the steal by Catchings. Misfires on the shot. Christy Sides comes out with it, the senior from Baker, Louisiana. Although there are some juniors and seniors on this team, the experience really starts and finishes with Tamisha Jackson.
Shaka Massey's got to finish these opportunities inside.
And a traveling violation called on Lassiter. That's the 5th turnover already here for the Lady Texters.
Louisiana Tech getting the ball inside, and when Jackson comes over from the weak side, bodies up Shaka Massey, and instead of going right into that contact, Massey kind of went away from it and wound up with a little bit of a fall away hook instead of taking the ball right into that contact to at least draw the foul.
There's the freshman Jackson trying to use the screen, and there's Tamisha Jackson stepping into the passing lane and laying it in.
Freshman mistake off the screen on the ball, looking for the opposite side off the double off the low block, and Jackson just telegraphed that pass, and Tamisha Jackson way too quick.
Snow, baby hook won't drop. And the foul will be called on Sides. Let's check in with Tiffany Wright.
Well, thanks, Ben. You know, after playing 2 years as backup point guard to Kelly Jolly, the time has finally come for Kristen Ace Clement. That's right, as a freshman, Ace would wow the crowd with her high, light, real passing, but at times it resulted in turnovers, which didn't have Pat Summitt too happy. But after 2 years of watching, she's now a starter and committed herself to being more conservative and being a leader for the Lady Vols.
Thank you very much, Tiffany. Well, a lot was made of the departure of Shemekwa Holsclaw, and sometimes people forget about the job that Kelly Jolly was able to do at the point for the last 4 years.
Great leader and getting everybody on the same page on the floor, kind of a coach on the floor, and Ace Clement has waited her turn patiently, and she's ready.
4-2 Tennessee over Louisiana Tech early on.
The ACC Big Ten Challenge begins November 30th.
I'm Buzz, and
I'm Shirley Rosalini.
And that's Shirley.
We're people. We switched the autos to State Farm because I was tired of punching numbers. We dialed a 1-800 number, hit an asterisk, hit a pound sign, and never did know who we were talking to.
They don't have to hit a pound sign to talk to me.
When I need to call my agent at State Farm, he knows who I am, and I know who he is.
I can talk to Gary like a friend.
I even insure their golf cart.
Like
a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Philips CD recorder. Burn your own CDs.
AT&T, 7 cents a minute, all day, every day.
Take one of these. That'll be 25 cents.
But it says here it's a nickel.
Not for a couple of hours.
What?
Well, see, sometimes it's a nickel, but right now, it's a quarter.
It's like that long-distance nickel plan where they say it's a nickel.
Sometimes they charge you 25.
That's right.
That's where we got the idea.
Is that right?
7 cents a minute, all day, every day, even to Canada with our international plan.
You know, there are some stores that sell candy for one low price all day long.
And people like it?
Oh, they love it.
Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
Welcome back to Thompson Bowling Arena. Just underway in the first half, 4-2. Second-ranked Tennessee with the lead over 6th-ranked Louisiana Tech. Beth Mullins along with Jay Billis and In terms of atmosphere, Jay, this is one of the best stops on the college basketball tour, Thompson-Boling Arena.
Well, Tennessee has great fans that understand basketball, and they understand that Louisiana Tech has been one of their chief rivals. They've got a terrific backcourt in Tamisha Jackson and Betty Lennox, and if Tennessee's going to come away with a win against a very good team, they're going to have to continue to put pressure on those guards. Ultimately, that pressure will wear them down, and thus far in the game, I think Tennessee's been very successful.
And Louisiana Tech 1 for 9 from the floor, and they've turned it over 5 times, now 1 for 10. Good steal by Ayanna Walker. She continues to work hard down low.
Ayanna Walker has the potential to be a great defender. She's got long arms, she is very athletic, and she puts a lot of work into her defense. She goes after the ball and is always around it. Coaches will say, well, she's got a real nose for the ball, and that's not an accident. She goes after it each and every time. It's no surprise she's around the ball.
She's got some big shoes to fill as well inside, as Monica Maxwell and Amanda Wilson both graduated and moved on to the WNBA. Like, they had 3 players that had some work with WNBA teams.
You talk about this being a great atmosphere. It's of great help to Tennessee to have this kind of crowd here. It's also a baptism by fire for Louisiana Tech, with the exception of 4 players. None of these other players for Louisiana Tech have played in this kind of atmosphere.
5 freshmen and 4 sophomores, and a 3-pointer from Samika Randall. She's got 5.
After a made basket, Tennessee in their man-to-man defense. What a crossover.
Jackson doesn't get it to fall. Randall. See her wearing that brace on her left ankle. She had ankle surgery in the offseason. And Carol Lawson off the bench fires up a 3. And Leon Barmore has to burn a timeout. Now we'll take a timeout with them. Tennessee, 10-3 over Tech.
Women's Basketball, the premier magazine for this dynamic and fast-growing sport. Featuring the stars of the court, from the WNBA to the college game to the high school scene, Women's Basketball magazine takes you from front row action to behind the scenes. Get with the game with a subscription to Women's Basketball. Call 1-800-561-2065 to receive 5 issues for just $14. That's over 40% off the newsstand price. Call 1-800-561-2065 to stay on top of the world of women's basketball.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific: Monistat. The #1 doctor-recommended brand, Monistat.
For friendly advice and great savings on your DirecTV system, stop by Circuit City today. When you get a DirecTV system and subscribe to Total Choice Programming, you'll get 2 free months of 32 premium movie channels and 25 specialty sports networks, a value of over $100. Plus, get a free self-install kit, a $50 value, or professional installation for only $99 with your DirecTV system. Save on DirecTV today at Circuit City.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific: Monistat. The #1 doctor-recommended brand, Monistat.
10-3 Tennessee following the 3-pointer from freshman Carol Lawson out of Springfield, Virginia. Not your typical freshman hoopster. Sure, they all do some weightlifting, but Lawson sets the standard. She bench presses 235 pounds just out of high school. Back home in Fairfax, Virginia, she was a star linebacker and running back, playing some youth football, leading her team in rushing, touchdowns, and interceptions.
And she is a clutch player. Pat Summitt proved that at the end of the game against the USA national team, she is not afraid to put the ball in the hands of Carol Lawson. That's just how much poise she's got at the end of a ball game. She's a scorer.
And she's also very intelligent. 1370 on her SATs. Nice drive, and then going to the left is Betty Lennox.
Betty Lennox is instant offense. Last year as the 6th man for this Louisiana Tech team. She played about 17 minutes a game and averaged over 10 points per game. That's efficiency.
Got a piece of it there. Takes it away from Ace Clement and lays it in.
Boy, what a quick backcourt of Lennox and Jackson. They can wreak absolute havoc. Now full court pressure from Louisiana Tech. They're going to turn up the heat.
Clement calls for the clear. And Jackson, oh, quick whistle there. She gets whistled for the hand check.
And she was not at all happy about it. Tamisha Jackson, an intense competitor. Talk about an explosive and athletic point guard. She excels in the full court game, and the pressure that she and Betty Lennox and also Christy Sides have put on in the backcourt has really frustrated Tennessee, and they have not handled it particularly well since the last time out.
Now 5 Lady Vol turnovers as well. And the whistle's going to go against Kara Lawson for holding on the pick. Here's what they did last year to the tune of about 22 points a game. Those numbers should go up more this year because they are options number 1 and 2 offensively. Lennox. Fadeaway doesn't go. Shaka Massey with the putback draws the foul.
Got Michelle Snow on the foul. Good job by Shaka Massey to go to the offensive glass. But again, she's going away from contact a little bit. Still drew the foul. So you'd like to see her drop that left shoulder and get right into Snow and take that ball more toward the basket where she'd be able to finish a play by the goal.
Shaka, a senior out of Arlington, Texas. And college basketball coming your way with the preseason NIT on ESPN2. It's the Notre Dame men against 6th-ranked Ohio State at 8:30 Eastern. Follow it up with Kansas State and 9th-ranked Arizona at 10:30 Eastern Tuesday.
Get to see Troy Murphy, one of the best players in the country from Notre Dame, and also one of the best backcourts with Scooty Penn and Michael Redd. And wait till you see Jason Gardner at Arizona, another freshman point guard.
Tamika Catchings with a sweet move to the hoop. Can't finish, but will head to the free throw line.
The top 6 in the men's coaches poll, the ESPN USA Today poll. Connecticut will likely drop out of the top spot after losing to Iowa in the Coaches versus Cancer Icon Classic. And Steve Alford really made his presence known with that Iowa program already. What a terrific job he has done. The attention to detail that team pays, not only defensively but offensively as well. And under the direction of Alford, that Iowa program, those players really doing a great job reading screens, getting shots off of good screens and making cuts a little more sharply. That's going to be a good basketball team, an improving program under Alford.
Catchings misses on the second. Tamika, 77% free throw shooter last year. Takesha Lewis, who's come on. And a 3-second violation will be called against the Lady Texters.
Yeah, Ayanna Walker thought she was open inside, the little flash pivot. Getting in for the duck in. And she just didn't get out of there. See Lewis going against her, Ayanna Walker going against Tamika Catchings, a nice screen. And usually the screener is the one that's open. Nice job by Walker to shape up, but she's got to do it a little bit faster.
Ball batted around. Louisiana Tech comes out with it. Here's Jackson in transition. The crossover by Clement. Lost the handle on the way up, but Lennox with the follow won't go. And Randall comes away with it. Lennox right on her.
I'll say Betty Lennox, although she is undersized, is an outstanding guard rebounder. Averaged about 4.5 rebounds per game last year. Half of those were offensive.
Catching, sets up the 3 and hits. She's got 4. 28% three-point shooter last year, trying to improve on those numbers.
You worry about Tamika Catchings putting the ball on the floor and going by you. You want to give her that extra space, but she's got the ability to hit that shot.
Boy, this is a great matchup here. Probably the 2 quickest players in the country, Randall and Jackson. The pick and roll, Walker fading away. Takesha Lewis put back, and the foul. I think they're going to get Lawson, and that would be her second.
The rotation rotation after weak side help for Tennessee just a bit slow. The weak side help good in getting over there, but the players up at the top near the free throw line need to come down and block out when that weak side help goes from one side to the other to stop a drive. You have to have rotation down to get a good block out.
That is not something you usually see from a Pat Summitt team. 8-1 on the offensive glass. And it's an 8-rebound advantage overall right now for Louisiana Tech with that young front line, but they're playing very aggressive.
See Pat Summitt talking with one of her fine assistants, Mickey DeMoss. And Pat Summitt has developed a great program here, not just because of the players that they have, which are outstanding, but also the staff that she has.
Mickey's had an opportunity in the last 2 years to go to either Texas A&M or this past summer thought about going to the WNBA as the interim coach in Indianapolis and decided to stay. Holly Warlick on the other side, both of them have been next to Pat for the last 15 years, and Hal Brown, a terrific addition 5 years ago. They put up unbelievable numbers at home.
Well, that staff does a great job. They scout very well, and you mentioned the coaching opportunities that they've had, but have decided to stay. And Holly Warlick was a great player here at Tennessee.
We'll take a timeout. 14-8, Tennessee.
At Lexus of Knoxville, we have satisfied customers. Listen to what they have to say.
Well, they had a lot of cars for us to evaluate, but fortunately for us, our dream car was sitting right on the front of the Lexus dealership. When we got to do the test drive of the Lexus, it was an easy decision. Well, when we started to shop around, of course, we went to Lexus of Knoxville. It kind of made it an easy decision, to be honest with you. I'd tell any of my friends that Lexus is the best car in the world.
I was nervous. I knew more what to expect this second time.
For me, the first time, I was more nervous because I didn't know what was going to be going on.
The nurses made the difference. They were very comforting the whole time.
Baptist, to me, just made us feel real comfortable. We're just thankful. Thankful for everything.
We're very lucky to have two beautiful, healthy children.
If I had one of those TV rating boxes on my television, the #1 show in the country would be 11 p.m. Sports Center. I never miss it. In my opinion, it's the best thing going. Okay, maybe it won't hit #1, but it'll definitely give Dharma and Greg a run for their money.
A very underrated defense. Daryl Gardner forces an incompletion, knocks Drew Bledsoe to the ground.
Face it, America. Situation comedy, it's a dead genre.
14-8 Tennessee over Louisiana Tech. Leon Farmer has been to 13 Final Fours, including 2 back-to-back, and his senior Tamisha Jackson confident, we think, that they can get back again this year.
Can we? Of course we can. Sure we can. We can. Now, will we? I think we can. Yeah, we definitely can get there. We can get there. We can get there. You believe me? We can get there. We can get, yes.
I believe you. 1 for 9 for Tamisha Jackson to start out this ball game, but you are not going to find a quicker, more explosive guard, especially with the ball in her hands. And I spoke with Brian Agler, the head coach of the Minnesota Lynx of the WNBA, before this ball game, and he said he was particularly eager to see Tamisha Jackson. He's in need of a point guard, and she would be a fine addition to any team.
Boy, she has the potential to just be a fantastic pro.
Going to go the other way. A foul on Tennessee underneath off the rebound.
There are a handful of players on the floor that have the opportunity to play in the WNBA in the coming years. A lot of scouts here checking out Jackson and Lennox and Catchings and Randall.
The 2-2-1 3/4 court press, yet another defensive change by Tennessee. They give you a lot of different looks.
And the block catching swats Jackson shot. Betty Lennox. Boy, they are relentless.
Relentless and unbelievably quick. Not only quick feet, but quick hands. Look at that.
Clemens having all kinds of problems, and Jackson with the payoff.
I mean, her shoes have to be made out of the stuff they make those Super Balls out of. She just bounces up and it's incredible how quick she is.
She's putting the flubber to use again. And Louisiana Tech will keep it.
Look at the quick hands, not only on the part of Tamisha Jackson, but Betty Lennox. Look at that anticipation. And that makes her now, I think, 2 for 11 with that shot, but maybe that will get her off the snide. She's missed some opportunities, but she's going to keep putting it up. Leon Barmore needs her to.
Lennox way off the mark. 8 turnovers, though, by Tennessee have led to 9 Louisiana Tech points.
Even Brooke Lassiter, those quick hands. Not only are their feet moving and their hands up, they're sticking those hands in there trying to knock that ball away, and they do it without fouling.
Hand check called out top on Betty Lennox, and Tennessee, the pressure has prompted a change at the point now. April McDivitt, number 10, a freshman, has come on from Connorsville, Indiana, and the Lady Vols will see how she can fare against the pressure. The coaching staff really liked the minutes she put in against the national team.
Came to the Lady Vols camp at age 11 and decided even from the state of Indiana she wanted to come and play for Pat Summitt. One of those Indiana Hoosiers that had a basket nailed up to the barn.
Yep. Sides misses on the shot. Randall with the weak side rebound. She's going to take it all the way.
Great play. That's got to be going the other way.
Jackson's calling the charge. Does Art Baumingen agree with her? Wow.
Samika Randall very good in the open court, taking the ball all the way. And you can see the foul was on number 50, Katrina Frierson. And that was not a good foul on the part of Frierson because there was a defender waiting there to take the charge, and that would have gone the other way but for that body bump by Frierson.
Brooke Lassiter had the position, waiting on Randall. Samika gets the free throw. She's got 6. Wayne Jackson back in.
And what would have been a great defensive play by Brooke Lassiter erased just because Katrina Frierson not quite as disciplined as she should have been. When somebody gets past you, you got to have confidence in your help.
Frierson and another freshman, Cheryl Ford, both expected to get extensive minutes this year up front for Leon Barmore.
Almost picked off by Snow.
Now Lassiter directing traffic. Kyra Elzy, another top-notch defender, checking her.
Tough angle for Sides to feed the post. One more dribble over towards Pat Summitt, and she would have had the proper angle to get that ball inside to Shaka Massey. Even if Massey had caught that ball, it would have been taking her more toward the baseline rather than toward the basket.
Another turnover. Jackson steals it from McDivitt. And Tamisha is all fired up.
And I'll bet you right now, April McDivitt is saying they don't throw them that quick in Indiana. That was just lightning. They put that ball on the floor, and before it bounces, Tamisha Jackson's got a hand in there to get it on the way up.
11 Tennessee 11 points off of turnover for Tech, and Tennessee converts inside. Gwen Jackson. She's got 4. Quickly the other way. And now end-to-end action is Tennessee. Pushes.
Tennessee very fortunate. Their transition defense very slow.
Randall shy on the shot. Michelle Snow has it swatted away out of bounds.
Great anticipation, and we've talked about the quickness. Getting right around in front, using her feet, and using that right arm to knock the ball away, and April McDivitt hit the deck. And had to run back and watch Tamisha Jackson lay it in. And although she has struggled shooting from the field, she scored off of her defense. That can get her started.
Well, I guess somebody left the barn door open, and Tamisha Jackson snuck in on McDivitt. Randall hangs but can't hit. Walker gets the block. Tech comes out with it.
Shaka Massey doing a nice job running the court.
Jackson gets it to go, and will go to the line.
Tell you what made that play, Beth, was Shaka Massey running the court. She collapsed that defense and allowed Tamisha Jackson a little bit of extra space to maneuver. You can see Jackson coming down the right side, and look at how the defense is drawn down by Shaka Massey. Michelle Snow had to run down and try to deny her position on the block, and that opened up things just enough for Jackson to cross over and get into that lane, and she finished that play.
First personal on McDivitt as Clement comes back in. Let's check in with Tiffany Wright.
Well, Jay was talking about Shaka Massey, and after transferring from the University of Arkansas 2 years ago, Shaka Massey, she was anything but consistent. But while she averaged 9 points a game, Coach Leon Barmore expected more. But Shaka says she plans to have a breakout season, and she's making consistency her top priority. She also said she will begin against the Tennessee Lady Vols tonight.
Tiffany, are you sure she didn't transfer from Arkansas because you wouldn't throw her the ball?
No, it wasn't that. You got to be in the game to throw the ball, Jack.
Knocked out of bounds, and it will go to Louisiana Tech. Well, Leon Barmore's team sticking right with Tennessee. Well, he had a great quote earlier in the week, a little tongue-in-cheek. Said, hey, I'm playing against the greatest team in the world on their home court. Of course, I'm real fired up about that. But his team has come up, fired up to play. Gwen Jackson. Carol Lawson tips it to keep it alive.
Good decision. Boy, if Ace Clement had taken one step forward, she would have had a 3 there after Carol Lawson got that rebound. Those are backbreakers.
Holding foul will be called on Christy Sides. That's her second personal.
Boy, LaTech, after a tough start, has really gotten back into this game based upon their defense. When your shots aren't falling, Leon Barmore preaches to his team that you can stay in a ball game and win it defensively by turning defense into offense. You like the country folksy charm of Leon Barmore and kind of the aw-shucks nature he brings to it. That guy is one tough competitor. And you can see it in his teams when they play.
He does not like to give an inch, and even though he's got a relatively young group, that's no excuse. We got to be ready to go. Jackson off the mark. Rebound to Ace Clement.
Not the best shot. I want to pull it out, run offense, make Tennessee play a little bit of half-court defense.
Catchings off the dribble. I heard Pat Summit say before the game they wanted to establish that inside game. Snow misses on the shot.
Awfully tough on that weak side. Tamisha Jackson had to battle 2 players to go for a rebound.
Carol Lawson, 3-pointers good.
I talked to a couple coaches who recruited Carol Lawson, and they were both, we wanted her so bad. She is such a great player. She can play any guard position out there. What a great scorer she is, and she is so mentally tough. Carol Lawson's going to be a great player in college.
She created the turnover there at Tennessee, up 23-17.
What if your car slips off the road in Slippery Rock? Or you need the name of a mechanic in Mechanicsville? Well, if your car is insured by State Farm, just look up the local State Farm agent. Almost anywhere you travel, whether it's a big metropolis or just a little one, a good neighbor is always nearby to help. So if your car gets stolen in Thief River Falls, or you have some trouble in Paradise, hey, don't worry about it. State Farm is there.
Look at that. So beautiful. Bellissimo. Be gentle. Hold it like this. Do not rush. Enjoy every moment. Ah, the onion. Such a beautiful thing.
Got to admit, getting better.
Philips high-definition TV. As real as it gets.
You with the long face. Have a seat. Come in.
I'm the 1-800-COLLECT advice guy.
And you look like you could use some.
Yeah, I borrowed my dad's car. Me and my buddies drove up here for a little fun.
Go on.
Yeah, well, I didn't exactly ask if I could borrow it.
Give them a call. Use 1-800-COLLECT and save them $1 or $2. That way they'll forget about all the dumb stuff you've done.
Hey, should I tell them about the tattoo?
Depends where it is. Use 1-800-COLLECT. Save $1 or $2.
23-17 Tennessee. The Lady Texters hanging in it thanks to the play of Tamisha Jackson, just a tenacious defender.
She's got great hands. She also has those quick feet. And she is relentless in pursuit of the basketball. And of the 17 points that Louisiana Tech has put on the board, at least 11 have come as a direct result of defense. While their offense is struggling, their defense is keeping them in this ballgame.
7 points on 3 of 14 shooting, but 5 steals in the first 13 minutes of play.
And Leon Barmore would like to see a couple better shots out of Tamisha Jackson, but he certainly can't fault the effort that she puts in, especially on the defensive end.
7th all-time in Tech history in steals, 10th all-time in assists. And the foul will go against Tennessee. Offensive foul. Let's check in with Tiffany Wright.
Well, Beth, Pat told her team to take advantage of the point guards that are in the game right now. She said they can run on this team all day. She said run it right up their backs. That was her words. Beth.
Well, you always tell your team that they can accomplish whatever goal you want them to accomplish. I remember playing for Mike Krzyzewski. We would play against teams that were a lot bigger, and in the scouting report, he'd say, you can get offensive rebounds against this team. Offensive rebounds are available. And I say, how am I going to get an offensive rebound with Ralph Sampson again? But what are they going to say? She wants her team to run, and Pat tells her team, you will run. It's available if you want it, if you're willing to go out and do it.
Well, she wanted them to run right up their back. She couldn't climb up Ralph's back to get a couple of those boards.
I'd need a ladder and then an extension.
Bad news for Tennessee. That last foul was the 3rd on Kara Lawson, so she is out. And another offensive foul against the Lady Vols.
Going against Gwen Jackson. Ayanna Walker beat her to the block. And Jackson, just in a little bit of frustration, trying to create some space, put out that left arm. And Pat Summitt talking to an official to watch the post defense on both sides, that there are forearms going in the backs and the sides, and they got to call that stuff too.
First personal on Gwen Jackson. And Ayanna Walker to the free throw line. A sophomore from Houston, Texas. This is the one aspect of her game that really has to be elevated. Just a 36% free throw shooter last year.
Watch Betty Lennox work that second slot. She's going to try to get around Michelle Snow. Boy, a tall order to try to get an offensive rebound for Betty Lennox in there, but she is a very good guard rebounder.
First points for Walker, and the first points that haven't been scored by a Lennox or a Jackson.
It's tough to get in an offense for Ace Clement when she's having so much trouble bringing it across half court. That's how good the defense has been by Tamisha Jackson.
Tanika Catchings. Lennox got a hand on that one again. Snow kicks it out to Clement. Shot clock running down. Has to heave it up. And Shaka Massey comes out with it.
That is great rotation on the part of Louisiana Tech. A double team inside. Ayanna Walker comes over to shut it down for Ace Clement. Everybody rotated, helped out. Good communication.
Walker misses on the J. And Lassiter a little too much on the dish inside to Massey. Now Clement.
That's not the pass.
And the reach-in foul called on Tamisha Jackson.
Drive by Ace Clement, reaching across the body with that right arm. That's a foul every time. And basically, her arm acted like a turnstile as Ace Clement was going by.
Similar to what we saw in Game 1 of our doubleheader when North Carolina State, although young, used their defense to really create some problems for a more experienced Rutgers team, and the Techsters doing it here to Tennessee to a certain extent.
Christy Sides running the point, allowing Betty Lennox and Jackson to work off screens.
Lennox with the fadeaway. Betty's got 8.
She's got a little John Starks in her, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
Great.
Excellent springs.
And a horrible pass by Ace Clement. You got to work on your pass more than that.
Tough bounce pass down to the low block, and Massey is tied up by Michelle Snow.
Tennessee will take it. There have been some ill-advised passes in this ball game. Not only that last post feed by Ace Clement, but also the pass in the paint by Christy Sides. And That'll be improved upon once these coaches get the players into some film session. And you get going a little bit too fast sometimes in November, trying to make plays that sometimes aren't there.
Try to get out of the chute a little too quickly. Randall. Sneak off the mark. Boy, Louisiana Tech boxing out very well. Lennox all over that one. Randall on Jackson. Walker. Took an extra step before she got going. Cheryl Ford checks into the game, the other freshman we were telling you about from Summerfield, Louisiana.
Know who her favorite NBA player is? Wonder if you can see the resemblance. Her father plays for the Utah Jazz, one of the all-time greats in the NBA, Karl Malone. She is the first Louisiana Tech athlete to be the progeny of a former Louisiana Tech star.
The coach is looking to bulk her up, but she has some tremendous offensive skills. Averaged 28 points and 16 rebounds in high school. Lyanna Walker with the block. When Jackson goes around her, doesn't get it to drop, and Michelle Snow the last to touch it.
A little bit of zone by Leon Barmore, a little bit of a different look on the out of bounds, and look at this nice block and then the step through. That's kind of a European move and is oftentimes called a walk in the United States, but it is not one.
Walker going to the left and falling away.
Yana Walker's really had a nice first half. She's not put a ton of points on the board, but she has been everywhere offensively and defensively. Boy, Ace Clement's having to turn her back. She's not able to see anything or run anything.
Michelle Snow. And the walk called on Snow. Louisiana Tech turning up the heat on defense. They've got the 1-point lead over second-ranked Tennessee.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific. Monistat, the #1 doctor-recommended brand. Monistat.
To stuff your stockings with. Best Buy, bringing a little magic to life.
AT&T, 7 cents a minute, all day, every day.
Take one of these. That'll be 25 cents.
But it says here it's a nickel.
Not for a couple of hours.
What?
Well, see, sometimes it's a nickel, but right now, it's a quarter.
It's like that long-distance nickel plan where they say it's a nickel.
Sometimes they charge you 25.
That's right.
That's where we got the idea.
Is that right?
7 cents a minute, all day, every day, even to Canada with our international plan.
You know, there are some stores that sell candy for one low price all day long.
And people like it?
Oh, they love it.
Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific. Monistat, the #1 doctor-recommended brand. Monistat.
Shamiqua Holtzclaw, 131-15. Her one-loss record during her career, and a lot of the focus was on her scoring, but one of the things that was overlooked was her rebounding ability. And we are seeing a little bit of how much she is missed already here in Game 1 without her in the lineup. Last year, they out-rebounded teams by 8 a game. Holtzclaw averaged 8 a game, but tonight that is not the case.
That was a big concern coming into this season for Pat Summitt, her team's ability to rebound, who was going to go out and grab the big defensive and offensive boards. But don't forget, Louisiana Tech out-rebounded opponents by over 9 last year, so they're a team that knows how to rebound as well, and something's got to give.
Tech up by 1 in the rebounding category thus far. Jackson off the dribble, around and out. Ford, and lost it off her foot, out of play. The front line for the Lady Techsters. Walker, a sophomore. Ford, a freshman. Going with 3 guards.
Very important final 3.5 minutes for Louisiana Tech, especially for their two guards, Jackson and Lennox. They've each got 2 fouls. Don't want to pick up a third, especially a cheap one.
Catching off the mark 5 points early for Tamika, but she's been quiet since then.
Lassiter running it out top, and that will allow Jackson and Lennox to work off screens down low.
There is Jackson off the screen, around and out. Randall trying to track it down and does so.
Tennessee runs a variety of different sets. They like to get into something, run some players off some screens to get open shots after their primary and secondary break.
Catchings tried to tap it out to Clement, and it's out of bounds. 14th turnover for the Lady Vols. With 2:30 to play, coming up at halftime, the induction class into the Women's Hall of Fame for the year 2000 will be announced. Also highlights of our first game, North Carolina State upsetting Rutgers, and an interview with the Wolfpack head coach Kay Yao, now in her 25th season, and also one of the inductees. And Pat Summitt, who has been at Tennessee for 26 years, some speculation as to how much longer she would be around, and we asked her about that.
I watch the Pro League, but, you know, I feel that's more about business. And I really like the day-to-dayness of my job and the relationships and the opportunity to work with young people and teach them life skills and to be able to see the results. I mean, from the freshman to the senior year, I mean, there's an incredible amount of growth that takes place, and that's what I enjoy. Just like I enjoy teaching and seeing those results on the court, I like seeing it off the court as well.
Right now, Summit's Tennessee Lady Vols trailing Louisiana Tech by 3. Lennox and Jackson so quick with the release. 16 Tech points off of Tennessee turnovers. Gwen Jackson.
A lot of one pass and a shot. Ace Clement have a hard time getting her team into any consistent offense in the half court. She's been having to dribble the ball around a lot, and that was a one pass and shot possession.
Ayanna Walker off the dribble in the paint for 2.
Walker got all the way to the basket from the sideline with no weak side help coming in to stop or take a charge, and you can bet that will be addressed at halftime by Pat Summitt. But Leon Barmore is enjoying it. His team's starting to show some life offensively.
Knocked out of bounds. Tennessee will keep it. 5 minutes into the game, his club was down 10-3. It's been a 25-14 run since then for Barmore's club. And 11-0 run that they're on right now. Snow blocked by Massey.
Nice job by Shaka Massey moving her feet to get down there for the block. It looked like Snow had walked with the ball. You can see her shuffle her feet a little bit. She did walk with it, but Massey stuck with it and took that ball right out of her hands up at the top.
Kyra Elsie comes back on for Tennessee, replacing Gwen Jackson. Catching blocked inside by Walker.
And boy, what great execution by Tennessee to get Catchings open. Oftentimes the screener is the one that's open. Tamika Catchings sets the screen, shapes up looking for offense, but great block down low.
Lennox, boy, that move's been working all day for Betty. She's got a dozen.
Leon Barmore talked about Lennox and Jackson have to have great games, not good games. And so far, he's getting a terrific half from each one.
Randall responds. Tamika now with 8. Check at 9. Tech by 5. Under 30 to go. About a 3 or 4 second differential with the shot clock.
And as you can tell, no 10-second call in women's basketball. 2-3 zone for Tennessee.
Tamisha won't wait for the shot clock to wind down. A long 3. Clement, an opportunity Tiffany for Tennessee, and dishes instead of getting the shot up.
Not a good end to the half for Tennessee. A great one for Louisiana Tech. They get the 3, and Tennessee doesn't even get a shot off at the other end.
24 points for Jackson and Lennox, one shy of what the Lady Vols have in the first 20 minutes. And let's check in with Tiffany Wright and Leon Barmore.
Coach, your team was down early and then was able to come back. How were you guys able to get it done? What will it take in the second half to be able to overcome and beat the Lady Vols?
Well, we're smart enough to know this game is a long way from being over. This is a great team, a great program, and a great crowd, so we know that it's not over. But the thing, we kept missing a lot of shots early. We're playing hard, and we're playing about as hard as we can. I thought we just got a little better offensively as the game went on, and Lennox started making a few shots, but we know it's a long way from being over.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Let's go back to you, Beth.
Thanks, Tiffany. 33-25. 6th-ranked Louisiana Tech leading the 2nd-ranked Lady Vols.
The State Farm Women's Tip-Off Classic for the benefit of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame is being brought to you by Nike and by Best Buy. When you're looking for a better way to buy electronics, appliances, computers, and music, stop into Best Buy.
It's like we've always been there for you. We were there when you found your first love, and when your first love found you. We helped you get settled into your first real place, then into your wife's idea of a real place. And now that you have a reason, make that reasons to get some life insurance. There's no one better to ask than the State Farm agent you've always trusted to care for your car, your home, and you. State Farm is there for you because State Farm is there for life.
Well, at first I was always the last one picked. Nobody wanted to play with the girl. All of a sudden, everybody was picking the girl first. We'll take her on our team. That is when you know that you develop the respect of the guys, is when they're picking you over other guys. I'm Becky Hammond, professional basketball player. You give us girls an inch, we'll take a mile.
Morning.
How you doing?
Welcome back to Thompson Bowling Arena at the half. Louisiana Tech surprising Tennessee 33-25. Well, it's been a special day, not only because of what's been going on the court, but also what's been going on just down the street at the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, opening up just a couple of years ago, and it's been wonderful. The second class of inductees being announced today, and just like the first group, this second group has some tremendous names. Of course, we saw head coach Kay Al from NC State. We're watching Kim Mulkey-Robertson on the sideline for Louisiana Tech. Those some of the great coaches of the game. Betty Jane certainly doing some tremendous work with the WBCA. Pat Roberts played on the 76 Olympic team after playing here at Tennessee, and some of the other names all involved with the 1976 Olympics in Montreal. And if you've been following women's basketball over the years, some of these names will certainly stand out as well. All members of the class of 2000 that are being inducted this year into the Women's Hall of Fame. And just a terrific group that is going in. And one of those is, of course, Coach Kay Yao. And we will be talking as well with Gloria Ray, who is involved with the Hall of Fame. First of all, congratulations, Coach, on your win today. But I guess the bigger picture, what will it mean to you to be inducted into the Hall?
all. Well, really, Beth, my cup overfloweth today, having won that game, and then finding out that I was inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's a tremendous honor. I mean, in with some great people, and words can't even express how I feel about that.
Now, this is just the beginning of what is going to be a very special year. What else will be going on back in Raleigh? I know one of the highlights will certainly be the retiring of a lot of numbers of great players over the past years.
Well, this is my 25th year at NC State, and so in February we're having a big celebration weekend, a banquet, and on Sunday following our game with Clemson, we're going to retire 7 former players' jerseys. And we have a lot of people who are coming back for that weekend. I'm looking forward to it greatly.
Well, congratulations on your induction, and congratulations. You've got a young team this year, but they came through for you today.
They certainly did, Beth. I hope we can do some great things.
Well, let's bring in now Gloria Ray. And Gloria, the president and CEO of the Knoxville Sports Corporation. First of all, Gloria, talk a little bit about this second class of inductees and how important they are to the women's game.
I think this class represents the players, certainly the coaches, the administrators, and as you see here today, the appreciation for the players from the 30s, 40s, and 50s that were great athletes. And so this class really gives us a good representation of all those.
How has the hall been received by the fans of the game?
Well, I tell you, they walk into there and they go through and they see the stories and they hear some of the things that happen, and they just say, I had no idea, and they get goosebumps when they're supposed to, and they sweat when they're supposed to, and they laugh and cry when they're supposed to. So it's been a great experience, and we invite everyone to come down to the Hall of Fame. The induction ceremonies will be June the 9th and 10th of the year 2000, and that's just part of the festivities that weekend.
All right, thank you very much for joining us, Gloria.
Okay, bye-bye.
Halftime here at Thompson Bowling Arena, and Louisiana Tech has the lead over second-ranked Tennessee.
This halftime report is presented by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's like we were always there for you. We were there when you became an independent woman and when you found a place you could call your own. We were there when you finally told your mother, "You're getting married!" And now that you have more dependence than independence and you need life insurance, there's no one better to ask than the State Farm agent you've always trusted to care for your car, your home, and you. State Farm is there for you because State Farm is there for life.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific. Monostat, the #1 doctor-recommended brand. Monostat.
After you turn 40, you probably notice your eyes don't focus as well as they used to. Well, now Lens Crafters can help with a new and improved no-line multifocal lens called Maximum View Progressives, or MVP. Other no-line progressive lenses have a more limited vision area, but new MVPs have a vision area that's up to 20% larger to help you see better. People leave seeing better than they ever thought possible, and I love that. New Maximum View Progressives, only at Lens Crafters, made in about an hour.
Wonderful gifts to stuff your stockings with. Best Buy, bringing a little magic to life.
When you have an ailment, different doctors might recommend different treatments. But for yeast infections, the #1 recommendation of doctors is specific. Monostat, the #1 doctor-recommended brand. Monostat.
And we welcome those of you watching the Volunteers of Tennessee and Louisiana Tech. Second half action coming your way in a few minutes on ESPN. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave Feldman. Thanks for watching ESPN News. We'll keep you company for the halftime, and then we will get you back to your second half in Tennessee. And we'll start off with the NFL, with the Bills and the Dolphins. 23-3 is the final score. The Bills are victorious. Christie hit field goals of 31, 48, and 47 yards as the Buffalo Bills improve to 7-3. The Colts and the Giants, 27-19, the final score. Peyton Manning had a good game. Graham threw for 253 yards, but the Colts are victorious. And Indianapolis now is 7-2. Edgerrin James, $108 on 16 carries. The Titans and the Bengals, 24-14. George, 2 touchdown runs. Steve McNair, a 1-yard touchdown run. Eddie George, $123, 2 touchdowns on 23 and 14 yards. In the Browns and the Steelers, 16-15. Cleveland gets just their second win of the season. They're at KC next week, but the Browns are victorious. The Steelers go down. Pittsburgh now 5-4 on the year. The Vikings and the Bears, 24-24 right now in overtime with 11:57 left in this game. Two teams with inverse records, 5-4 and 4-5 already. Miller is thrown for 3 touchdown passes. We'll keep you updated. It's 24-24 right now in overtime. The Chiefs and the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay wins it 17-10. Trent Dilfer, 2 touchdown passes of 35 and 59 yards. Look at the yard passing discrepancy. KC only 25, Tampa Bay 197. The Panthers and the Rams, third quarter, 21-10 Rams. Steve Berline dropping back and finding Wesley Walls, who's met by Billy Jenkins, and Walls fumbles. Mike Jones is a very happy camper. 34 yards for the touchdown, made it 28-10 Rams, and the Rams lead it 35-10. Walls, a 14-yard touchdown reception. Isaac Bruce, a 22-yard touchdown reception. So the Rams, after dropping 2 straight, have regrouped, and now they improve to 7-2. The 49ers continue to struggle. They lose to New Orleans, 24-6. It's only New Orleans' second win of the season. Billy Joe Tolliver threw for 1, and he ran for 1. The Redskins and the Eagles, 35-28. Philadelphia victorious over the Washington Redskins. The Washington Redskins came in with the worst defense in the NFL, and this won't help. 35-28, the Eagles are victorious. Michael Westbrook had a 43-yard touchdown reception. You've been watching ESPN News. When we come back, the second half. The Volunteers down against the Texters.
Got cars? We do.
I'm Pamela Madden. I got my car on the Airport Motor Mile.
We're the Clements, and we got ours on the Airport Motor Mile.
I checked around, and they have the best price at the Airport Motor Mile.
I shopped all over, and I got the best deal at the Airport Motor Mile.
Why shop the Motor Mile?
They traded my way at the Airport Motor Mile.
You'll save thousands on the Airport Motor Mile.
Get yours at the Airport Motor Mile.
Want the best selection, best price, best deals? Get it on the Motor Mile at the Knoxville Airport.
Leaf & Ale is East Tennessee's most unique store with home beer and winemaking supplies, over 200 micro and import beers, gourmet coffees, and premium cigars. Hi, I'm Mike Nelson. Leaf & Ale is the only store of its kind in East Tennessee. Stop by, visit a while, and we'll show you how you can take a little vacation every day. After all, enjoying fine beer, coffee, and cigars doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. Leaf & Ale, Knoxville's most unique store on Kingston Pike at Cedar Bluff in the Cedar Springs Shopping Center next to Oak Factory Outlet.
For friendly advice and great savings on your DirecTV system, stop by Circuit City today. When you get a DirecTV system and subscribe to Total Choice Programming, you'll get 2 free months of 32 premium movie channels and 25 specialty sports networks, a value of over $100. Plus, get a free self-install kit, a $50 value, or professional installation for only $99 with your DirecTV system. Save on DirecTV today at Circuit City.
You could say I'm always looking for a challenge. So when I heard Old Spice had this high endurance challenge, how could I say no? It's a long-lasting, white solid antiperspirant that goes on clear. Look, no flakes. And talk about stopping wetness. I'm out here all day and this stuff really lasts. Guaranteed. So take the high endurance challenge and see if you... Hang on, little buddy.
33-25, Louisiana Tech with the lead over second-ranked Tennessee. And we're at Thompson Bowling Arena for the State Farm Women's Hall of Fame Tip-Off Classic. Beth Mullins along with Jay Billis. And Jay, the guard play in that first half just extraordinary for Louisiana Tech.
It was incredible, and Tamisha Jackson gave Ace Clement so much trouble just in getting the ball across half court, and Louisiana Tech, as a result, was able to score off their defense. Jackson had 5 steals. She had 12 points in that first half, as did Betty Lennox, and the guards have really been carrying the load for Louisiana Tech. But I'll tell you, Tamisha Jackson reminds me of Allen Iverson, the way she gets on the ball defensively and how quick she is. She was really the difference in that first half.
The Nike first half statistics and the points in the paint, huge advantage for Tech due to the guard penetration and the points off of turnovers. They really made Tennessee pay for their mistakes.
16-0 is an incredible stat, and you're right, that all came the points in the paint off of penetration and turnovers.
What kept me going was the belief in the dream.
For over 2 years at an arm-numbing 9,000 wheel turns a day, Canadian Rick Hansen wheeled himself around the world, raising over $20 million for spinal cord research and rehabilitation.
We wanted to redefine the way people viewed issues of disability.
Through the Rick Hansen Institute, he's continued to raise almost $100 million more.
And I honestly believe that our best work is still to come.
State Farm salutes life heroes because State Farm understands life.
Flat TV from Philips. A new way to look at television.
With the AT&T one-rate 7-cent plan, calls are just 7 cents a minute all day, every day.
What about Canada?
What?
Canada.
Yeah, same thing. With the international plan, it's 7 cents a minute always. What about all the other countries in the world? Japan, Mexico, Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein.
All right. Every country has its own low rate. What about France? France. Same low rate as France. Great. I'm going to go call France, which is right near France.
7 cents to Canada and great rates around the world. Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
After you turn 40, you probably notice your eyes don't focus as well as they used to. Well, now Lens Crafters can help with a new and improved no-line multifocal lens called Maximum View Progressives, or MVPs. Other no-line progressive lenses have a more limited vision area, but new MVPs have a vision area that's up to 20% larger to help you see better. People leave seeing better than they ever thought possible, and I love that. New Maximum View Progressives, only at Lens Crafters, made in about an hour.
The State Farm Women's Tip-Off Classic for the benefit of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame is being brought to you by Circuit City. Answers in every department. Low prices all over the store.
Back at Thompson Bowling Arena, Knoxville, Tennessee. Second-ranked Tennessee, 6th-ranked Louisiana Tech. And the Lady Techsters with the 33-25 halftime lead. Tech in blue, Tennessee in white.
Got a box in one already, really a diamond in one, and that one is on.
Working it inside, Michelle Snow with the steal. Carol Lawson up to Randall. Out there with Clement, Michelle Snow, Tamika Catchings. This is Snow working on Shaka Massey. Turnaround no good. Massey, Sides, Walker, Lennox, and Tamisha Jackson for the Lady Techsters.
That Summit going with Lawson starting in the second half. Get a little more ball handling ability in there to counteract the 3-guard lineup of Louisiana Tech.
She's also playing with 3 personals. Shaka Massey out of the locker room and into the scorebook.
Tennessee went back to their man-to-man on that last possession. They started out in the zone to start the second half.
Clement. Tip back out top. Tamisha Jackson working against Catchings. Hoist one up and in. Tough shot gets it to go.
Through the contact and still was able to throw that ball up and off glass. And there's the steal. Lennox and Jackson working well in tandem.
Jackson will pull up. This is on the J. Shaka Massey. As the Lady Techsters continue to hammer the offensive glass. Timeout, Tennessee.
Shaka Massey beat everyone down court for that. The big transfer from Arkansas, picking him up and putting him down, getting all the way down the court. Here's the last shot by Tamisha Jackson, putting it up over the bigger Tamika Catchings. That was an amazing shot. How did she get that up there so quickly? It was almost like a throw, but it was a shot.
Let's check in now with Tiffany Wright.
Thanks a lot, Beth. I'm here with Jack North, Senior Vice President of State Farm Insurance Company. Jack, when you guys got involved with this tournament 7 years ago, did you ever envision that it would turn out to be this big?
Well, Tiffany, it really was a dream of Executive Vice President Bruce Callis, who passed away this March, Intersport Television. And the idea was to bring 4 of the top teams in women's basketball together and jumpstart the women's season. And yes, I think when you start something, you hope it works like this. But to be here and experience this is a wonderful way to keynote State Farm's involvement and commitment to women's athletics. We're very proud of this event.
Thanks a lot, Jack. Let's go back to Beth.
Thanks, Tiffany. Thanks, Jack. Samika Randall after the kick out from Clement. Randall's got 11. Lennox being checked by Ace Clement. Betty Lennox. Boy, they have not cooled off at all. He's heading into the locker room.
Great one-on-one players, Tamisha Jackson and Betty Lennox. And Lennox has terrific leaping ability, able to get shots off over bigger defenders.
Foul, the reach-in called on Shaka Massey. That's her first. Lennox and Jackson both with 14 in the game. Outscoring Tennessee right now.
Leon Barmore said they had to have big games, and they are. Michelle Snow with the foul on the bad screen. Or moving screen. It was probably a great screen.
Now she has to be a little flustered. That's her 3rd personal, and she is scoreless so far today.
And she's picked up 2 cheap fouls off screens. Here's another defensive change. 2-2-1, 3/4 court pressure. And Louisiana Tech has broken it expertly.
Ayanna Walker from the foul line.
Getting somebody breaking middle and looking opposite.
Catchings. Using the Randall screen. Tamika very quiet. After 5 points in the first 5 minutes, she has been shut down.
Every time Tennessee puts on full court pressure, not only are Louisiana Tech's guards able to dribble around it at times because of their speed and quickness, but they're also getting great cuts, people breaking toward the ball. And that has opened up some passing lanes, and they can turn and attack, and they're breaking this pressure to score. Now a 2-3 zone for Tennessee.
Lennox over the top, bothered by Catchings. Carol Lawson gets the outlet to Randall. Looking up to Catchings, and again knocked away by Jackson. 6 steals now for Jackson, and another fall away.
On the women's side, she is the answer.
Wow.
You think the WNBA scouts here are impressed? There are some pens running out of ink for superlatives on those scouting reports for Tamisha Jackson right now.
Boy, her stock is skyrocketing. Randall doesn't get it to go.
Nobody offensive rebounding for Tennessee. Good blockouts by Louisiana Tech.
4-2-1 out of the locker room for Louisiana Tech. Randall in traffic and throws the pass over to Holly Warlick on the Tennessee bench. 18 turnovers today.
Well, Holly Warlick was open. Here's the pass. Didn't look at the weak side help, and Tamika Catchings doing what you're not supposed to do after making a steal and you're falling out of bounds. That is, save it under your opponent's basket, but everything worked out well for Tennessee on that one possession. But great weak side help to make that steal on the lob pass.
We're seeing not only how difficult it's going to be to deal with the loss of Shamika Holtzclaw, but also the loss of point guard Kelly Jolly. Lennox, and she draws the 4th personal foul on Kara Lawson. And she will have to come out of the game. Not what Lawson had in mind for her debut. Kyra Elsley will return when we do as well.
The ACC Big Ten Challenge begins November 30th.
Different, but their passion, their dreams are all the same. That's why State Farm is a proud sponsor of women's sports, because little girls have big dreams too.
A gift for making the everyday extraordinary. Best Buy, bringing a little magic to life.
Louisiana Tech surprising Tennessee here in the second half on a 24-4 run since late in the first half. And here's Coach Summit in the huddle a moment ago.
Don't be so concerned with what we're running out of this, attacking the basket. I mean, we haven't scored. We haven't scored, so if we can get anything off our defense, come down and sort out what's happening, because we had two back-to-back turnovers on that, all right? If you don't have it, go into your fist, look for catch on the block, or...
And Coach Summit concerned with the offense. And we're going to see if they can fire something up with their defense.
Well, she called a set play, but what she wants her team to do is attack the paint, attack the basket off penetration. Try to get something going toward the hole. They're not getting fouled, and they're certainly not getting any easy baskets.
Pass out top to Christy Sides. There's the run for Louisiana Tech. Shot clock running down. Jackson throws it right to Kyra Elsie. Elsie in transition with Lassiter to beat, and Lassiter will foul her.
Great hustle by Brooke Lassiter to get down there and knock that ball away. She picked up the foul, but she saved the basket. And Jackson probably should have just taken that turnover and let Tennessee take the ball out of bounds. Instead, Elsie was able to take it all by herself, and just the great hustle of Brooke Lassiter kept that from being an easy layup. She'll make him earn it at the free throw line.
Elsie, the junior from LaGrange, Kentucky, has been hampered by a torn ACL as Lennox returns. Coach Summit said she was a sponge last year, just absorbed everything, sitting over on the bench, observing, listening.
Well, Elsie's got the ability to be a terrific defender. She's got long arms and gives you that flexibility.
Randall with the steal. Gwen Jackson can't convert. Clement battling for it. Elsie. And Louisiana Tech wants a walk, but it's going to be a foul. And it's going to go on sides. That's her third.
Louisiana Tech has got to be organized in their press break right now, because Tennessee put on full court pressure after the free throw. Picked up the turnover, and there was nobody from Louisiana Tech coming back to the passer to present themselves as receivers.
Timeout called with 15:06 to go in the second half. And we've got more women's college basketball coming your way on Friday, November 26th, with the Women's Coaches versus Cancer Championship. Connecticut, Kentucky, Old Dominion, and Clemson. So it could be a terrific UConn Old Dominion championship game Friday, November 26th on ESPN2. For more on women's basketball, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. And a chance to see Svet Abrosimova.
We already saw Summer Erb in the first game against Rutgers. She was terrific.
Clement off the mark. Elsie trying to put it back up and in, and Kyra draws the foul, and if that's on sides, that is her fourth.
Yeah, one player we didn't see on that preseason All-America list is UCLA's Melana Martin, who I think is an outstanding player and could very well make a run at National Player of the Year honors.
UCLA, Oregon, a couple of teams to watch out in the Pac-10 this year. Lady Techsters, as is usually the case, favored to win the Sun Belt Conference. Tennessee atop the SEC preseason favorites. A couple of free throws by Elsie. Tennessee trying to use their defense to get back in it. Another takeaway by Randall to Jackson, back to Samika. Ace Clemens' putback is good.
Looked like 1-2-1-1 full court pressure and another walk. Getting going a little bit too fast. Louisiana Tech really needs to settle down.
Now the spark has been Elsie off the bench, turning up the defensive pressure. And Louisiana Tech will burn another timeout.
Here's Ayanna Walker with the ball in full court. That's not where she needs to have it. Need to get it in the hands of a guard, but Betty Lennox turning right into a double team here, knocked away. The good feed from Gwen Jackson to Samika Randall, and nobody getting back. That should have been a rebound at least contested by Louisiana Tech, but Ace Clement able to put that ball in quickly, and that led to the next turnover by Walker.
Well, that's got the Tennessee faithful up and into this ball game. Trailing now by 13.
Well, you don't want the crowd getting back into this ball game. Louisiana Tech does not. Because players have a tendency to tighten up sometimes. You're trying to protect a lead, and you start getting to play not to lose rather than playing to win, which they've been doing all game.
Clement with Jackson watching her. The pass down to Randall. Randall working inside on Lassiter, who bodies her up for the foul.
Great up and under move by Samika Randall, the two guard, but clearly she has post-up ability. And Tennessee has gotten precious little off the low block. They haven't been able to post Tamika Catchings down there, so Randall took a guard down low and put on a clinic.
Samika, another Naismith Player of the Year candidate. She's got a dozen. Over 160 steals in the last 2 years. Established her reputation with her defense, and now her offense is coming around as well.
The human press break. The 1-2-1-1 put on after the free throw, and Jackson just dribbled right through it.
Lennox whistled for the carry.
That has been a point of emphasis not only in the women's game, but in the men's game as well. Palming the ball. On the NBA level, that's just called a good crossover move.
Yep. 3 straight turnovers on 3 straight possessions for Louisiana Tech. Letting Tennessee back in it.
The box set right now for Tennessee. Screen for the screener play, trying to get Catchings, but Clement almost lost it.
When Jackson coming to the high post, and the foul will be called on Shakamasi. That's her second.
Ace Clement has had so much trouble bringing the ball up and handling it just because of the great pressure of Tamisha Jackson. It has nothing to do with Clement's handling ability. She's a very good handler. That probably should have been a foul. Look at the difficulty with the hands coming in. You can't see anything, have to turn your back. That's a difficult job for Ace Clement to have to handle the ball against such pressure.
Jackson off the dribble. Off glass, no good. Randall trying to keep it alive. Catchings does, but right to Massey. 3-on-2 Texters. Ace Clement was there to knock it away.
much better in transition defense for Tennessee. You can see their defensive energy has picked up quite a bit, and it's paid dividends. But Pat Summitt will be talking to them in practice tomorrow about doing it from the beginning of the ball game.
LZ trying to get the crowd incited. Shot clock did not reset, so it's a 20. Although with Jackson, it doesn't stand a chance of getting there. Rebound, Elsie. Secondary break. Gwen Jackson draws the foul. This is a different Tennessee team right now, playing with much more emotion.
Well, they're running the court. Tamika Catchings ran the court, and she's the one that flattened out the defense. Watch everybody trying to keep up with Catchings, and that allowed Gwen Jackson to get into the middle. Takesha Lewis had to run down the court in order to catch up with Tamika Catchings. Otherwise, she would have been running alongside of Gwen Jackson. Tamika Catchings running the court is what got Jackson open on the break.
Jackson at the line. 6 and 4, her numbers today, points and rebounds. And Tamika Catchings talking things over. 5 points for Catchings today.
Going to be back. Cairo covered the
all
middle.
In the first half. And has not scored since 8 minutes into the game. So now Jackson at the free throw line.
Again with the 1-2-1-1, they're trying to trap out of it, and there is no way seemingly to move your feet to get in front of Tamisha Jackson without putting your hands on her. That's what Ace Clement just did. And you can see that C being made by Pat Summitt. If I did my scouting right, that's her 2-2-1 3/4 court press that I saw her put on so successfully against the USA national team. But that's what it is. They're at 2-2-1.
Boy, but Tamisha Jackson is just stealing that weapon and taking it right out of Tennessee's hands, isn't she?
Well, they're certainly making her play fast, which she likes to do. And there she broke the pressure with the pass, getting along the sideline to Betty Lennox. And Lennox made a terrific pass inside to Katrina Frierson, and Frierson made the nice catch and finish. You can see right out of the double team, cross court, Betty Lennox gets the ball and pinpoint bounce pass and right past Tamika Catchings, and that's one Catchings who usually has great hands to get deflections, needs to knock away.
47-36, Louisiana Tech leading Tennessee here at Thompson Bowling Arena, the State Farm Hall of Fame Tip-Off Classic. It's opening day in women's college basketball. Beth Bowens, Jay Billis, Tiffany Wright here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We've already had one upset today. North Carolina State knocking off third-ranked Rutgers. Lassiter on the drive, no good. Takesha Lewis keeps it alive. Lennox long on the attempt.
Needed to pull that one out. They've done a great job on the offensive glass. That was a foul.
Elsie running the floor, and now Lennox the other way.
Got to be patient here. Make Tennessee play a little bit of defense. They're back in their man. Now we're going to go with a double stack low. Nice pass.
Inside, Frierson picking up a couple more.
In the first half, it was all Jackson and Lennox. In the second half, they've gotten others involved, and it's paid off.
Boy, things going Louisiana Tech's way right now, up 13.
Jackson on the penetration goes away, and here comes Tamika Catchings, and the nice little dump off to Frierson. Again, the weak side help just a little bit slow, rotating down.
Foul called on the screen against Takesha Lewis. That's going to be her second. 11:49 to go. Louisiana Tech by 13 over Tennessee.
morning.
How you doing?
Louisiana Tech over Tennessee, and a concern for Pat Summick, as she just told her players the rebounds.
Push the tempo, but if we don't have it, we don't have to score in transition, okay? Stay aggressive. The biggest thing right now on the defensive end is the weak side boards. Got it? On the defensive end. Coming out of this, Kara Run gets Samika. We're going 13. 13.
And that would be Kara running in to get Samika as Lawson returns to the lineup, replacing Randall. And let's see if Tennessee can try and establish Tamika Catchings. Just 5 points, all in the first half. As Kyra Elsie hits the free throw.
Lawson has to be conscious of those 4 fouls, but still stay aggressive. Difficult at times for a freshman to do. And no pressure here. They're going to drop back into a zone, a 2-3 zone. Trying to protect Kara Lawson in those 4 fouls.
Shaka Massey from the elbow. Around and out, Elsie up for the rebound. Tennessee's got a couple of freshmen on the court right now, Lawson and Jackson.
Getting into a box set. They like to run screen for the screener out of this. And there it is, the screen for Lawson. Well defended by Louisiana Tech.
10 on the shot clock. Catchings, 3-point attempt to score. Second of the game for Tamika.
That was the first time Tennessee in the second half, in my estimation, has been patient and run their stuff, and it paid off. What Pat Summitt was saying in the timeout, we don't have to score in transition. If we don't score, run something. Make Louisiana Tech play defense in the half court. That's the first time Tennessee's done that.
Lennox off the dribble, no good. There is the weak side rebound for Tennessee. So they've done both things that Coach Summitt talked to them about doing in the last time out.
And back again to the box set.
Reach-in foul called on Tamisha Jackson.
Anytime you can get Tamika Catchings into the middle of the floor, that's a good thing. Squares up in triple threat position. The defense, Frierson not on her, forcing the drive, so she cans the 3. Another candidate for postseason player of the year honors. She's got the total package. What's most impressive to me, though, about Tamika Catchings is her defense.
She often draws the toughest assignment for Tennessee. She's got 8 points today. At the line, Ace Clement has 3 and 5 assists. And that last foul was the 3rd on Tamisha Jackson.
All of a sudden, we've got a 2-possession game. And Pat Summitt going to stick with that 2-3 zone.
Got the crowd back in as well here in Knoxville. Jackson, long-range bomb. Second of the night for her. She's got 19. And she continues to harass Clement at the other end. Jackson, strong move with the left hand.
Nice flash post and step-through move. And a good job by Ace Clement to keep her head up under that pressure from Tamisha Jackson and make that play.
Under 10 to go. Walker from the elbow. Nobody boxed her out. Ayanna backs in and travels.
Boy, working so hard to flash into the middle, get the ball, put up the shot, and then chase down her own rebound. Unfortunate for Ayanna Walker.
Summitt calling out the offense. Clement, tough pass to make.
Great play by Tamika Catchings.
Gwen Jackson looking for the baseline. Shot clock running down. Lawson will have to put it up and draws the foul with 2 seconds on the shot clock.
That was a poised play for a freshman. That clock winding down, the ball winds up in her hand. It's like somebody handing you a hand grenade. And she was very poised with the ball, kept her head about her, and immediately drove into contact. A few of the college coaches that I spoke to that recruited Kara Lawson said that she would make an outstanding point guard. She is a great scorer, and that's why Pat Summitt likes to use her at the 2-guard. Plus, she's got a terrific point guard in Ace Clement.
Christy Sides is fouled out, and now Kara Lawson to the free throw line.
Watch this little mini dribble that Kara Lawson takes before she shoots a free throw. She barely dribbles it off the ground. It's like a quarter of an inch off the ground. She takes 4 little dribbles to get her rhythm. I noticed this against the U.S. national team. I was calling it the mini dribble.
Oh, it's great to see different players with their different rhythms on the free throw line. It works for her. She's got a couple and has 8 points. And Tennessee now within 5.
Pat Summitt's been changing defenses all game long, but this 2-3 zone, she has seen something she's like. She's stuck with it 4 straight possessions.
Massey over Elsie. Shaka with 6.
Becca Massey has been very active in this game. She's done a good job on the defensive end, but she's really moved offensively. Made herself a threat in there, which is what Jackson and Lennox need.
Clement, and she is bumped by Betty Lennox.
Lennox got away with the first bump, but when she bumped again, that's when the referee blew the whistle.
That's the 3rd on Betty. 18 for 21 at the line for Tennessee, 86%. Tech just 6 of 11.
Well, they've shot 14 of those free throws, going to be 16 after this in the second half. So a big difference in the way that Tennessee has attacked things off the dribble. And Leon Barmore a little bit frustrated by what he's seeing.
Ace gets 1 of 2.
It's a little full court man pressure now. Token pressure in the backcourt.
Lassiter checked by Lawson with those 4 fouls. Walker flashes high, misses on the shot. Battles for the rebound. Lawson comes out with it. To Elsie. A step on Walker baseline. And Massey is there. Nice no-look shot to Massey. Finishes.
What a pass. There's an example of being rewarded for running the court. When your big people run the court, guards got to reward them, and that's just what Benny Lennox did.
Massey now joins Lennox and Jackson in double figures for Louisiana Tech.
2-man game.
Clement hits in the paint. 6 for Ace now. Massey. Tech tries to beat Tennessee down the floor. Randall in traffic. 3-on-2. And she pulls it back out. Ace. The skip. Lawson sights up the 3.
Well, that was making the extra pass. Ace Clement could have pulled the trigger over there in the right corner, but she kept her vision and saw perhaps the better shooter, Kara Lawson, with a better shot. Just didn't go down.
Lennox uses the screen. Shots off the mark. Lawson running now with Clement. And knocked away from behind by Anna Walker. Lawson, though, keeps it alive, then draws the foul.
Boy, that looked like Ironhead Hayward going after a first down. Good rear pursuit by Anna Walker, knocking it away, but Kara Lawson sticks with it, and that football mentality that she's got. Said the other day that she wants to play linebacker when she plays. She loves to play football, and if she was a little bit bigger, Bill Fulmer would have a tough time keeping her off the field.
Snow and Catchings awaiting their chance to get back in there.
Pat Summitt said, in a late game situation where she needs a last shot put up, she's going to go to Tamika Catchings and Kara Lawson first. Now that says a lot about a freshman coming into this program. that the ball will be in her hands at the end of a ball game.
She puts Lawson right up there with some of the best freshmen that have come into this program in terms of their leadership skills. And she gets 1 of 2. The Louisiana Tech lead is 5. Lennox, the no-look to Shaka. And Tech hanging on.
Due to overwhelming demand of its customers, Circle J Western Wear will remain open in La Follette. Over many years, Circle J's goal has been to give customers what they wanted. Now, as always, depend on Circle J Western Wear for better products at greatly discounted pricing. Lay away now for Christmas while every item in the store has been reduced. Get boots from $39, jeans at huge discounts. Come check out Circle J's newly remodeled store in the Cumberland Crossing Shopping Center. Take exit 134 off I-75 North.
Tennesseans are at home with natural gas. Natural gas heat means a home that's fresh and warm. Gas water heating means a home with more hot water. Saves up to $200 a year.
So, natural gas is at home with Tennesseans.
You reversed it. I said Tennesseans are at home with natural gas.
Makes sense either way.
You're right, because either way, where natural gas goes, your hometown grows. Natural gas.
Is brought to you by Hoops Malone.
If you're looking for hoops, look no further than ESPN2.
First up, the nation's best backcourt of Scooney Penn and Michael Redd lead Ohio State against the Fighting Irish. Then at 10:30, Zona's got the answer in the front court, and his name is Michael Wright. He powers the Wildcats against Kansas State. Notre Dame, Ohio State at 8:30, Kansas State, Arizona at 10:30. The preseason NIT, Tuesday on ESPN2.
Nobody does hoops like ESPN2.
6th-ranked Louisiana Tech with the 56-51 lead over 2nd-ranked Tennessee here at Thompson Bowling Arena. And as we saw in the first half, the guard play has carried over into the second half for the Louisiana Tech, but Tennessee's starting to do some things defensively.
No question. That Louisiana Tech in the first half seized control of the game with their defense. In the second half, Tennessee has gotten back in it because they have attacked at the point of pressure. They put the ball on the floor and attacked the Louisiana Tech defense, and they've been much more patient. They've certainly turned up the heat with their defense as well, and that's why they're only down 5 now.
That was our Folger storyline. Ayanna Walker, Katrina Frierson, no good. The move to the 2-3 zone certainly helped turn things around as well for Tennessee.
Didn't have anything on the break. Now they're going back to the box set.
Left alone, catching. 4-3 of the game for Tamika. Assist Clement, and it's a 2-point game.
Tennessee back to man-to-man.
At one point, a 16-point Tech advantage. Frierson knocked away, but it ends up in Jackson's hands, around and out. Look at Frierson work on the glass and draws the foul on Michelle Snow.
Boy, what a nice job by Frierson. First to slip that screen. But here on the other end, Tamika Catchings gets out to the three-point line. Nobody there. Ayanna Walker trying to get there late. Good recognition, not only by Catchings, that her man was hung up on a screen to get out to the three-point line, but also by Ace Clement to get her the ball.
Fourth personal foul on Michelle Snow as Frierson heads to the line, the freshman from Vicksburg, Mississippi.
To step into this big-time atmosphere and perform as Katrina Frierson has done. Leon Barmore to be very pleased. She made a great read on that little screen roll and slipped the screen. Weak side Hope knocked the ball away, but she stayed after it.
Her high school coach is now an assistant with Leon Barmore, Chris Long. In fact, he's got a couple of new assistants because the Currys, Christy Curry, now the new head coach at Purdue, and her husband Kelly, now the new assistant coach at Purdue, both headed up to West Lafayette. The foul will be called on Tamisha Jackson, and that now is her fourth. Now let's check in with Tiffany Wright.
Best talking about Katrina Frierson, and Coach Leon Barmore is exceptionally pleased with her. He said she will be the post player of the LaTech future. She's only a freshman, like you said, out of Vicksburg, Mississippi, but he said she understands the game. She has great footwork, and she's already stepped up in this one with 6 points. Beth?
Thanks, Tiffany. And an opportunity to get a lot of playing time early in her career due to the departures of Monica Maxwell, Amanda Wilson.
Well, this new front line that he's got, in addition to Cheryl Ford, will give Leon Barmore the biggest team he has had in almost 10 years. Here's the 1-2-1-1, the trap right off the first pass.
Lennox tries the hesitation, taken away by Clement.
Oh, what a nice job by Ace Clement to stay down in a stance, move her feet, and keep those hands active.
Ace has 9 points and 7 assists.
The box set again. Watch the screen for the screener. The diagonal. Here comes the screen by Michelle Snow. They didn't really run it to completion, but that puts Tamika Catchings on the low block where she can operate.
Good fake on Walker. Catchings had another chance. Falling away. Doesn't go. Knocked around Snow. Up and in. We're tied at 58.
Michelle Snow took that ball to the basket hard. She was right at rim level to lay that thing in.
Her first basket of the game. And the foul looks like it's going to go against Samika Randall. That's going to be her first.
You can see the nice rebound by Tamika Catchings, putting it up as she's fallen down. And watch this move by Michelle Snow, using her pivot foot to get closer to the basket, and she skied to lay that thing in. That's worth jumping up and down about. Back to the 2-3 zone.
Lassiter on the penetration, the kick out, Shaka Massey around and out. Snow way up to the board. Tennessee looking for its first lead since early in the first half. Randall has it knocked away. Jackson crossover, pull, 18-footer, no good. Catchings tangles with Massey, and Shaka will be called for her third personal.
Hey, what, you play around with the ball in this game, and somebody's going to take it from you. Look at that cross. That's an ankle breaker. Creates space, didn't catch a shot, and one-handed Tamika Catchings comes down with that rebound. Watch her with her right hand while her left arm is tied up with Shaka Massey. That's a big-time board.
Tied at 58 with 4:22 to go. Second-ranked Tennessee has erased a 16-point second-half deficit.
You cannot keep dribbling.
Let's go into the huddle with Pat Summit.
Turnover. Listen to me. We're going to go middle option to Kara. After that, go into your motion, and you post people, be active. Really active. Stay in your 13.
This is how the comeback was orchestrated for Tennessee.
A nice drive by Ace Clement, forcing the action on offense, finding the open man in Tamika Catchings, and Catchings again in triple threat position, catching the ball in the middle of the floor where she is so dangerous. And Pat Summit, right as that timeout started, I think you could hear her saying, stop dribbling. The more you dribble, the more you're going to give an opportunity to players like Tamisha Jackson to take it away from you.
Look at that swing and points off of turnovers. It was all Tech in the first half, and now Tennessee with 13 points off of turnovers here in the second half. Catchings misses on the free throw. She's had a couple of three-pointers here since intermission. Kyra Elsie on the left there, one of the players that led the charge defensively.
A lot of time left in this game, and back into the 2-3 zone.
First lead of the game for Tennessee since 5:34 in the first half. Jackson from way outside, and Massey draws the foul down on the low block.
Almost worked out as a great pass, using the window to get it into the hands of Shaka Massey, but Pat Summit sticking with that 2-3 zone because Louisiana Tech has not shown a great deal of patience. That was not a good shot by Tamisha Jackson, but it worked out pretty well because Shaka Massey found herself right under the basket instead of hitting the rim. Hit the backboard and bounced right into her mitts.
Second personal on Samika Randall.
Massey shot about 60% from the line last season. Shot better from the field.
Shaka with 11 now today, perhaps bolstered by Leon Barmore's words earlier in the week saying she's been somewhat of a mystery for us. We need more consistent play out of her.
Well, she can be spectacular, and other times she can kind of disappear. And what Leon Barmore and his staff want are more consistent performances to know what they can get. If they can get consistently great.
Lawson no good. Long rebound, chased down by Randall. Keeps it alive for Tennessee.
Tamika Randall seems to get every loose ball. If she's around it, it's hers.
Boy, you'll be hard-pressed all year to see better guard play than the group that's been out here today. And Lennox trips up Tamika Catchings.
Nice little two-man game with the back pick for Tamika Randall for Catchings, or vice versa. That left Catchings out front, and Louisiana Tech had to switch, and there was a mismatch with Lennox on Catchings.
That is the fourth on Betty Lennox. Christy Sides is already out of the game with 5 fouls. Catchings back to the free throw line.
That's where they've gotten back in this ballgame. They're now 19 of 23 in the second half.
Catching has 14 as Gwen Jackson comes back in for the Lady Vols.
Now, if you want to measure aggressiveness offensively, one of the best ways is to look at the number of free throw attempts.
Tech just 4 of 5, and Tennessee, this their 24th attempt of the second half. And Catchings gets her own miss and picks it up for 2.
There's where the new rule, only 5 on the lane, hurt Louisiana Tech. They did not do a good job of blocking out the shooter because they didn't have the extra people on the lane to take care of that and didn't communicate it.
Clement called for the foul against Betty Lennox. Catchings has caught fire as of late. 16 points and 8 rebounds for Tamika.
See, nobody blocks out the shooter, and Tamika Catchings just waltzes right in there and puts it off the window. And because the number of people along the lane has been reduced, sometimes the communication on who's blocking out the shooter can get lost, and that's exactly what happened on that play.
That was Betty Lennox's job, and now Betty hits on the free throw, and there's the rule change that we've been talking about.
Maximum 5 players along the free throw lane. That is just like in the NBA. It's 6 total with the shooter.
Lennox gets both. Betty's got 16, and we're tied at 62 with just over 3 to go.
You might find them in a small-town schoolhouse or in a modern classroom in a great city. You cannot distinguish them by gender or by race or by age. Yet they are all bound together by one remarkable talent. They breathe life into learning. State Farm is proud to support America's most innovative teachers through our Good Neighbor Award. Thanks to these teachers, students are seeing learning in a whole new light.
Well, at first I was always the last one picked. Nobody wanted to play with the girl. All of a sudden everybody was picking the girl first. We'll take her on our team. That is when you know that you develop the respect of the guys, is when they're picking you over other guys. I'm Becky Hammond, professional basketball player. You give us girls an inch, we'll take a mile.
State Farm Women's Tip-Off Classic for the benefit of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame is being brought to you by Phillips, technology that's making life a little better all the time. And by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Well, a pressure situation, nothing new to Tennessee. They have already been in this situation this year when they played the national team a week ago.
Coming down the stretch in that ball game, Tennessee had led most of the second half. And down to the last shot when they were down, Tara Lawson was the one that sunk it. Tennessee able to hold on. The only difference in that ball game from this one is that Tennessee came into that game really with the attitude of having nothing to lose. And in this ball game, they are favored. A little bit of a different mindset, but at least they have been in this late game situation in a high pressure situation once already this year. Louisiana Tech has not had that luxury.
Clement will reset the offense.
Box set again. Here's the screen by Lawson. Puts Catchings on the low block.
Randall tries baseline, cut off by Lennox. Catchings working on Walker. Shot clock's at 5. Clement sees it, puts up the lefty shot. Massey is there.
A little bit too much playing with the ball. Got to make passes, not dribble through your legs. Double stack low for LaTech. There's a screen on the ball, a nice crossover.
Jackson, the scoop shot from 15 feet, and it goes.
Are you kidding me? How do you guard her? You need 6 legs.
21 now for Tamisha. Clement. Shot clock's at 10. We're going to have to hustle it up once again.
Great
And it's Ace. Around and out, Massey is there.
That's great half-court defense by Louisiana Tech. They essentially forced a throw at the end of the shot clock.
They've had a couple of big defensive efforts the last 2 trips down the floor. A minute and a half to go. 2-point ball game. Catchings with the steal. Tennessee with numbers and Randall with the finish.
Here's the 1-2-1-1 full court pressure.
Lawson has to be careful with the 4 fouls. The skip, Lennox. Around Clement. 17-footer is good.
Boy, is that big time with the shot fake, putting it on the floor and actually getting somewhere for the pull-up. What a great play by Betty Lennox.
39 now for the Lennox-Jackson combo.
Leon Barmore wanted a great game out of his guards, and he got it.
Foul. No, check that. A whistle and a timeout being called. There was a collision up top, but the timeout called before that by Tennessee.
Got the ball.
We're at Thompson Bowling Arena, Knoxville, Tennessee, starting out the new season with 2nd-ranked Tennessee and 6th-ranked Louisiana Tech at the State Farm Women's Tip-Off Classic. The first game of our doubleheader, North Carolina State upset 3rd-ranked Rutgers. And throughout much of the afternoon, Louisiana Tech led the way, leading by as many as 16 in the second half, but Tennessee made the comeback. And a reminder that coming up next on ESPN, horse show jumping, the Budweiser Grand Prix, due up next on ESPN.
I'll tell you what, a win in Thompson Bowling Arena against Tennessee would be a huge hurdle for this Louisiana Tech team to jump, and a signal that they are indeed national contenders.
Jumper off the mark. Rebound Massey.
In between 2 Lady Vols. A terrific rebound. Got to think about fouling. There's a 7-second differential.
Smart here to keep it in Lassiter's hands, a 90% free throw shooter. Tennessee's going to let it play out.
They score here, they make it a 2-possession game.
Lennox takes the handoff and draws the foul.
Hey, that's a cheap call. The hand check has been a point of emphasis, but there was no advantage-disadvantage gained in that last play with 10 seconds left. Unfortunate for Tennessee, but puts a very good free throw shooter, Benny Lennox, at the line.
Betty is 2 for 2 today. He has 18 points this afternoon. It's a big one there. 3 can only tie it now for Tennessee, and Lennox has one more to go. Lady Texters call the timeout.
Leon Barmore wants to set his defense, whether this is a make or a miss. He wants them in the right positions with the right mindset. Certainly you want no fouls, but you also don't want to allow a 3-point shot.
But don't foul a 3-point shooter. Do not let this happen. They go in and they do a break or they make a long pass.
And you can see right on, do not foul a 3-point shooter. That's the only way you can lose the game, is to foul a 3-point shooter.
Tonight on ESPN Sunday Night Football at 8:15 Eastern, it's Denver and Seattle. An AFC West matchup. And then on Monday Night Football, on a 9 o'clock tip, the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. That one on ABC. Lennox, one more free throw here. Louisiana Tech trying to close out this upset to start the season. And it's a 4-point lead. Randall hustles it up. Gets it to Lawson. She tried the 3. No good. Massey with another huge defensive rebound. She's done great work on the window today for Louisiana Tech.
Now you talk about getting consistency from Shaka Massey. She has set the bar awfully high today, and that is awfully good pressure on a 3-point shot without fouling. And Shaka Massey going high for that rebound, and when you corral a big defensive rebound to lock up a game, boy, that's when your teammates get excited. And to come into this arena against this team with the history that these two teams have had between each other, that is a tremendous achievement.
And this will snap a 40-game home court win streak for Tennessee. Their last loss was to Stanford back in December of 1996. So the 40-game home court win streak toast, courtesy of Louisiana Tech today. Massey with 10 big rebounds and those free throws to ice it. And for the second time this afternoon here in Knoxville, Tennessee, an upset as the second and third ranked teams in the country go down to defeat. Today's State Farm Player of the Game, Tamisha Jackson. Today's award is in the memory of Bruce Callis, a longtime supporter of women's sports and a senior vice president at State Farm. He passed away last spring of cancer. An award named in his honor, and it goes to Tamisha Jackson. Big afternoon for North Carolina State and Louisiana Tech as they pull off the upsets. The final score, 69-64. Up next on ESPN, horse show jumping, the Budweiser Grand Prix. I'm Beth Mullins, along with Jay Billis and Tiffany Wright. You've been watching the State Farm Hall of Fame Tip-Off Classic. So long from Knoxville.
Harrisburg, the capital city of the state of Pennsylvania, has attracted the top equestrian talent in the nation for what promises to be one of the top Grand Prix events of 19